We're going to take you back to Stormont Sinn Féin's press conference.
For you today on the cusp of the re-establishment of government here in the north, the establishment of the executive and a functioning assembly. As I say, it's been a long time coming, but we're very pleased that we are at this juncture. We're conscious that there is a huge amount of work to be done, that society has really suffered from the absence of government over the last 2 years. We're almost 2 years away from the last Assembly election. I very much welcome the fact that the DUP have now moved to explicitly recognise and respect the outcome of that Assembly election. And we look forward now to getting the job done, getting ministers in place, having MLAs return to the chamber, and of course Michelle O'Neill taking up position as First Minister. And of course that will be a moment of very great significance, not simply because we haven't had government for so long, but because of course it will be the first time that we will have a Sinn Fein First Minister, a nationalist First Minister. So a mark, I suppose, of the extent of change that has occurred here in the north and indeed right across Ireland. So we're here to do the business. We'll be meeting other parties now in the course of this afternoon, and it's now a case of agreeing the sequencing of this. And I have no doubt, in fact I know because obviously I came up from Dublin earlier, that there has been a great sigh of relief, but also a sense of expectation now that all of us together for the common good put our shoulder to the wheel and get the best job done that we possibly can for every single person living here in the north. And of course, by extension, this is a great news story for all of Ireland. This is an important part of the governance structure on our island, and it is a very welcome moment that we are here. I'm conscious that we've stood in front of you so many times before, lamenting the fact that we were still in limbo and that we were still waiting. I want to commend my colleagues, I suppose all of those in particular who were elected, many for the first time at the last election, and who have been incredibly patient and have demonstrated great forbearance, and to the public as well, for whom this hasn't been easy. I'm conscious in particular of public sector workers who now wait in anticipation for government here to make decisions that resolve for them their outstanding pay issues. So.
Do you believe that Sir Jeffrey Dawson has achieved a better deal for businesses here?
Well, look, Brexit was always going to be difficult and massively disruptive, and not to go over old ground. We never supported Brexit. We were always very realistic that it was going to cause a level of disruption. The job now is for all of us to support business, north to south, east to west, and indeed in seeking further international markets. And of course it is good news for business everywhere that the executive would be up and running, that you have a Ministry of the Economy up and running, and all of the other government departments. So restoration is good for business, of that there is no doubt.
Does the DUP deserve any credit for the fact that we are perhaps in a better place for businesses, as Vicky said? Plus we have £3.3 billion now to spend with. Might not have had that cash if the DUP not taken the position that it's taken. So do they deserve any credit for where we are right now, or do you see all this as a big massive negative?
Well,
Sorry, Michelle, the second question. How does it feel now to be within touching distance of that office and such a strong significant event for Northern Ireland?
So, Enda, I really hope, if that was me sounding negative, just what I've said, I don't really know what I have to say to sound positive. We are incredibly positive as we meet today, but we're also realistic. I mean, there's a financial package on the table. It's what's on offer from the British government, but there should be no doubt it's not enough in the medium term to fund this place. Just so as we're clear, there is still a big financial problem in terms of running public services here, and I don't want to rain on anybody's parade today of all days, but there has to be a realism here. There is a financial problem, and we have said consistently that the best way for us to confront Tory austerity and the underfunding of the North is to do it from a position of collective strength, from a functioning executive. So this is going to be a big item for everybody now going into government, to make sure that in a united way that the number 10 and 11 Downing Street are very clear that this place cannot be short-changed, and that will be a collective piece of work. And then on the issue of business, we need to work on that. Of course, it's better that there's government. It's been a nightmare for business, the fact that there hasn't been a functioning executive. I think business organisations have been clear. First Minister, in waiting.
Well, obviously I'm very glad that we're at this juncture, and I do think it is a day of optimism and some hope out there for the wider public. Our public services are stretched to the limit. Our public sector workers have been forced out on to the picket lines. I want to be in position because I want to make a difference to people's lives. I want to stand up and fight back against this Tory austerity agenda that has hurt our public services so much over the last 13 plus years since they've been in power. So we have work to do. We have a lot of hard work ahead of us, a bit of a slog ahead of us. But collectively, we can do better for the people that we serve. Collectively, we can fight back against this Tory austerity agenda. Collectively, we can stand up and fight hard for public services. That's what we're in the business of doing, trying to make people's lives better, improving people's lot. And that's what I want to be in the position of First Minister to do, and to work with all the other parties. So I think the next number of days are going to be crucial to get us to the actual real live point where we actually go into that chamber and nominate First and Deputy First Minister, put ministers into positions, and let's get down to business. The public deserve no less.
David Young. Sorry, Mary. Jeffrey, Lieutenant Dawson came this morning in regard to the number and the level of the reduction of checks he envisages happening as a result of that deal. And he mentioned the fact there might be zero checks now in GB to NI trade. That would surely involve some sort of buy-in from the EU. Is it your understanding that this deal in any way alters the existing agreements between the UK and the EU, and is Brussels on board with that? And just sort of secondly, a question on a different matter, if you don't mind. Labour this morning in Dublin said that Sinn Fein, when it goes to Washington in March, should potentially use the money from any Sinn Fein fundraisers and donate that to Gaza.
Okay, well, let me deal with that first. There's no fundraising in St Patrick's Day events for Sinn Féin or anyone else, so the Labour Party should probably do a bit more homework, a little more Uberwali might help there. In respect of what's been agreed, we've obviously been in close contact with both governments and indeed with Brussels. So we are satisfied that no part of the Good Friday Agreement has been undermined or damaged. And we also know that Brussels, Dublin, all parties are satisfied that what has been agreed stays between the hedges of the needs of Brussels and the European market, and also the concerns that the DUP expressed. All of that has been accommodated and worked on painstakingly. Actually was concluded upon some time ago, but here we are today.
Michelle, you're always very magnanimous, but be honest with us. The DUP, there's been a lot of debate about whether or not the DUP is prepared to share power with the Sinn Fein First Minister. How do you feel about sharing power with a party that is all over the front pages this morning for all the wrong reasons?
Well, I think it's probably mild to describe what happened last night as unedifying. But look, we are where we are today. We have a declaration from the DUP leader to say that they are going to return to power sharing, and that they are going to prove us wrong and come in and nominate alongside a Sinn Féin First Minister. I welcome that. That's exactly where we all should be. This is what goes to the heart of the Good Friday Agreement. Power sharing is the only show in town. So I'm finally glad that we're getting to a juncture where actually that may be possible once again. But then it's about beyond that, what do we do next? And I think that we have a collective challenge in our hands. We have to fight for good public services here. I'm glad actually before Christmas we, for the first time ever, had the British Treasury recognise that this place is underfunded. So that's a battle we should fight together, and we'd be far more successful doing that together. So if that's magnanimous, that's all right. I believe in the Good Friday Agreement, I believe in power sharing, and I believe in life you get much, much more done when you work together as opposed to working apart.
James Crude.
So Jeffrey Johnson said that this deal has to be supported by everyone. So do you support it?
We support, absolutely, we support the re-establishment of the institutions. We want it up and running, and this is coming not a moment too soon. We are now at a juncture where Rather than looking back, we now need to start looking forward, and we need to seize on the opportunities that are very considerable here in this part of the world. And of course, as Michelle has said, we achieve when we work together to a far greater extent. So that's the challenge for today. Of course, it's not going to be all roses. There will be challenges. It's a very unique system of government, this power sharing and DeHunt. But it's where it's at, as Michelle has said, and we're very, very happy that a day like this and the days that will follow can demonstrate politics working and political people working together. I think that's a really important message for wider society, and then we need to get stuck in. And of course, as Michelle said, item number one in many respects on the agenda is taking on very directly Tory austerity. Full on, toe to toe, James, with that. Well, you know, we're now at a point where we're putting things back together again. So no, I don't fear unravelling, and I don't think we should speculate around unravelling when in fact we're all working constructively. So no, I don't share that concern at all.
And obviously we will have decisions to take in terms of departmental choices, and we'll have to run a hunt. We'll have to talk to all the other parties as well around our priorities. So you'll forgive me, but I'm going to hold our counsel on that one until we actually get to that juncture where we come out and announce them all collectively.
You've been talking quite a cautious, matter-of-fact way about what's it feel to you like an extraordinary epoch-making moment. Can you give us a bit of historical sweep here? This moment we're on the brink of when Sinn Fein, the First Minister, in a place that was carved out of the map for the Protestant majority. What does that mean?
Absolutely. I think because Michelle is not alone magnanimous, she is also extremely modest, so I'll answer. It's massively significant. I mean, bear in mind, partition itself, the establishment of this state, was on the basis of creating an inbuilt and permanent unionist majority. And that day is gone. I mean, the electoral majority for unionism, as we know, has been gone for a number of electoral cycles. But I think the Sinn Féin First Minister, Michelle, coming to office as First Minister for all, really is the most striking evidence that that era is now gone. It is now consigned to the history, the pages of the history books. And more importantly, it signals now the new Ireland emerging, and the conversation around a new constitutional dispensation, ending of partition, Irish unity, all of the opportunity that presents is in many ways embodied in this moment of Michelle O'Neill becoming the first Sinn Féin First Minister here. So it is significant. And can I also say this, for us as Republicans, and for those of us who are nationalists and who are United Irelanders, that's a really, really exciting prospect in ways that are very obvious. I can only hope that as the government takes office and as Michelle and colleagues embark on their work, that increasingly for those who would not describe themselves as Republican nationalists or anything close to it, that they too will share in a sense of excitement of all of the things that are possible for us to do and achieve when we work together in a spirit of equality, respect, human rights, and sharing not just power, but sharing everything that we have in common, as we are privileged to live on this incredible island and call ourselves Irish, whether it's Irish and British, Northern Irish and or whatever variation. That's a very, very special thing, and I hope a thing that will become actually a chime for this new power-sharing government.
Do you pay tribute to those unionists who maybe have swallowed a very bitter pill to get to this moment, given their history, given their background?
I give tribute to everybody, every human being who walks their journey and who learns their lessons and who makes their mistakes and tries not to make them again. We're all in this together, and it has to be done in a spirit of partnership and absolute respect for our equality as citizens and our ability to work jointly. So I give credit all round. This is a day for, as David has said, magnanimity and being constructive. So we're really pleased that we're here.
Last question, Olivia.
Michelle, you are First Minister in waiting. Mary Lou, many people say your Taoiseach in waiting. What does that mean for your plans for the future of this island? Can you tell me exactly, what you're going to be discussing, what we can expect? You said Tory austerity, but I'm talking about a constitutional question. What can we expect on that?
So, well, just to say, as they say, you're not there till you're there. So I just want to caveat everything I'm going to say with you assume any office at the will and with the support of the people. So I'm not a bit presumptuous about this, but let me put the context perhaps like this. You see, striving for the new Ireland isn't some kind of dusty, legal, constitutional matter, although it is that. It really is about us collectively having a conversation about what Ireland can look like and will look like in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, for the next generations. And for us, one of the challenges is to bring as many people as we possibly can into that conversation. And that has to include people of all religious perspectives and none, people of every class, colour, creed, and of course it has to include those that define as unionist, as loyalist, as British. Because we are very clear the new Ireland will have within it British citizens or subjects, whichever sits more comfortably with them, and that has to be part of a big societal dynamic and change. So it's very exciting. I feel very excited by that. I feel very optimistic for our future together. I'm not naive. We are not naive. We know that there will be challenges and there will be forces that will push back against change, but we are all about a changed Ireland and a new Ireland for everybody. And what's more, I think that the turn of events, the historical turning of the wheel and the electoral place that we're at, I think signifies that what we talk about now is possible. As a matter of fact, in historic terms, it's within touching distance. And I think that's a very exciting thing. And I hope people will find that a very welcoming conversation, full of opportunity and not defined by fear at all, ever.
Thank you.
Thank you.